Hi, bit of a different video today that doesn't involve a guitar. Shocking, I know. It's winter, it's cold, it's snowy, it hurts to walk outside. There is pain, abundance in the coldness of the outdoors. So, what does that mean? I'll tell you what that means. That means, what are the best 5 bands to listen to in the winter? You know, some bands you listen to in the summer, some you listen to in the spring, some you listen to in the fall, some bands you listen in the winter. And I was driving one day, listening to one of these bands I'm going to talk about, and I'm like, they just sound better in the winter than they do the rest of the time. So, the question is, what 5 bands could I even be talking about? Well, I'm going to tell you, you wonderful person, you. All 5 of these bands cross all genres. There's not one specific genre. The first one, I think it's obvious. Well, it is obvious to me. Sleep Token. So, I know Sleep Token only has 3 albums out. Their latest, Take Me Back to Eden, This Place Will Become Your Tomb, and Sundowning. All of them, I think, could and do sound better in the winter. You ever just drive on the highway when it's snowing, you got Sleep Token playing in your car stereo? Do people still say car stereo? I don't know. But you got Sleep Token playing and there's snow going at you like you're in the Star Wars spaceship going phew. It just sounds better. I do think, though, the first record from Sleep Token, Sundowning, sounds a lot better than all the rest of them during the winter. They all sound great in the winter because, I mean, they're all like dreary, sad songs about heartache and heartbreak and all this stuff. I don't know the lore behind the song, that they're just good songs to me. Especially the first album. But they all sound great in the winter, which makes you think, like, what? It does make sense for, like, sadder songs to sound better in the winter. Because in the winter, it's cold, dreary, kind of the feeling of, like, quiet aloneness outside. When you have a bunch of snow on the ground, you go outside, you're like, oh, okay, it's like eerily quiet right now. Kind of that same feeling when it comes to songs. And Sleep Token does great with the heartbreaky, achy, sad songs. Band number 1. Band number 2. Post-rock band. You know I had to add a post-rock band. Post-rock just is a winter genre. It just is. I mean, like, majority of post-rock bands aren't playing, like, super happy-go-lucky songs. A lot of them are very emotional. Very emotional. I think the post-rock band that fits this perfect is Mono. And specifically 2 albums. One, Hymn to the Immortal Wind, and For My Parents. Because those are the ones that I remember the most. And I remember I used to live in a tiny house. I would sit in my tiny house by the window and listen to those 2 records while it snows outside. This was like 2012, 2009, 2010, something like that. They just sound like post-rock songs. They are sad. I mean, one of their most popular songs is Ashes in the Snow. I mean, that ain't a happy-go-lucky title, but it just fits perfectly because, like I said, winter is this, like, very calm thing, but it's, like, a bit lonely in a sense. And I think Mono does that very well. I mean, there are tons of great post-rock bands, but with Mono, there's just something about them that they create a feeling of, like, solitude, if you will, in their songs. The next band is, I don't know if it's because I'm just listening to them a bunch right now, or what, or when I found them, they were in winter, was the band Anathema. Anathema, that's how you say it. Mainly their last 3 albums, The Optimist, Distant Satellites, and Weather Systems. All fantastic records. I can't say enough about these 3 records and how good they are. You know, for me, I know a band is good. I'm not even talking about winter at this point. I'm just saying how good the band is. I know a band is good when I love an album and it sounds so much that I have a very hard time finding other bands that sound like them. To me, that is the key telltale sign that a band has something special, is when you have a very hard time trying to find other bands that sound like that, or scratch that itch in your brain because it sounds so good to you. Now, out of those three albums, I think The Optimist and Distant Satellites is more winter. But Weather Systems definitely has some winter aspects to it. I mean, it does have weather in the title. Really, all of these three are like perfect weather records. Especially my favorite ones of those three records that especially make me feel like winter is when, I can't remember her name, but the female singer, who really shines with songs that build up, which it kind of correlates to a lot of post rock that they do. Songs like Aerial, Endless Ways, or Lightning Song, where she kind of leads the song vocally, and they build, and that, I just love it so much. But yeah, definitely those three records for Anathema are definitely like winter vibes for me. I don't really listen to that stuff during the summer. Moving on. Now, the next one is, I know a group that no one's ever not gonna know. No, I know no one will. Is kind of a two-parter, but one band, if you will. So the next is a band called Falling Up, but I think they've changed their name, started a new project, same members, rebranded, if you will, to the Chilling Alpine Adventure, which they just released a record. Now, their early stuff, Falling Up, is like kind of new metal, hard rock in like the early 2000s. Their latter stuff, starting in like 2012 and onward, were very artsy. And it's same thing as Anathema, where it's kind of hard. I cannot find a band that sounds like them. And it's really hard to explain the genre. The best thing I could do is like, I mean, if you go online, it just describes it as art rock, which what that is, I don't know. But it's very experimental and very unique. The drumming, the chords, the melodies, it's all very unique. And it does remind me of winter in a sense. I'm seeing a pattern. What I consider winter albums is just really unique albums and artists. But Falling Up apparently changed their name to the Chilling Alpine Adventure and released a new record, self-titled The Chilling Alpine Adventure. And oh boy, this thing is very wintry. Even the artwork is snow mountains. So I would, out of all these records that I'm talking about, I recommend this one the most, because I know no one really knows who they are, and they've been doing it for a long time. Go check out the Chilling Alpine Adventure. The record, I cannot describe the sound of it. It's like takes indie rock, alt rock, artsy stuff, experimental stuff, into like this grand piece of music. It's really hard to explain, so really go check it out. The last one is another post-rock band, even though they're kind of not, yes, but they are classified as post-rock, is Sigur Rós. And, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory why they're post-rock. One of the quintessential post-rock bands. They've been doing it for such a long time. Some of my favorite records is the Parentheses one, but I heard people call it the Cheese Doodle album, which I think is hilarious. Also, an album that I really like is Liminal Sleep. Came out in 2019. That one really is really good. But I think one of the most winter ones, the two of the most winter ones that I can think of is Valtari and Tak. I think that's how you pronounce it. Those two records are very wintry. And I can't really describe what makes an album to me like sound great in the winter. I don't know. Because what I think of a winter albums could be different for you. But it would make sense for Sigur Rós for them to be like a wintry type of band because they're from Iceland. It's in the name, something cold. But definitely Tak and Valtari are two of the, like, for me, the wintry, and the Cheese Doodle album, the Parentheses one, definitely the wintry sounding albums, and my favorite. I've also Liminal Sleep. Those are my 5 bands that I think that that I'm listening to right now that are very wintry, very cold. I recommend all these bands. Tell me your bands that you think sound great in the winter. Is it Is it all throughout the year the same for you, or is like certain bands are like, okay, this is a winter vibe? Tell me in the comments below. Thank you. Just a little fun video, something fun to talk about. You can't play guitar all the time, you know. So definitely subscribe, like the video, become a member, and come to a live chat. If you become a member, you get to see videos early, about 2 days early, a day early. Also, you get access to soon some exclusive guitar lessons. Also, you will have say-so to what I react to if you're a member. So thank you so much. I'll see you in another video. Thank you and goodbye.